Good evening to those of you that are joining us this evening. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you've had a good day or having a really good day. We're going to get started in just a moment. I'm just setting up the few final bits that I need just here. So I'm just getting set up and then we can get started in just a moment. Go ahead if you haven't already and pop down in the chat where you are this evening. And if you are celebrating this evening, do let me know down in the comments. Pop it in the chat window. And for those that want to know this evening, if you joined us in the last live stream, we were covering some of the stuff from Ubiquiti's releases this year. We got about halfway through it and it was quite a good stream. So you can go back and check that out if you want to after this stream. But we're going to continue the second half this evening. So hopefully we will get started in just a moment. Cool. So let's get jumped in. I think we're good to go. So before we kick off, I generally show you some of the previous videos that we've done over the week or anything new that's come. Now, it's only been a couple of days since we last did a live stream, so there's not a lot much to show you. But there was a couple of things that I missed off on the last one. Well, I say a couple of things. There was one thing I did miss off. And yeah, let's jump straight in and have a quick look at what that is. So you can see my screen's popped up just here. And if we go to accessories, this is something Ubiquiti released last week. It's not something they've had previously. You were able to buy other sizes, but if we have if I can find the right area. Actually, let me go to the US site because it generally has everything that we're talking about on here. So if we go to accessories and then we can go to storage. So the Enterprise HDDs that you can buy, so previously you could buy 8 and 16 terabytes. You can now go ahead and buy yourself a 24 terabyte version as well. So that comes in at $499. You can go ahead and buy yourself one of those if you want. And it says down here the type of compatibility as well. So I'll just move my screen ever so slightly across. So you can see that works in the UDM Pro Max, the UDM Pro, the SE, the UNAS Pro, the UNVR Pro and the UNVR. So you can go ahead and stack these out as much as you want inside your drives. So for example, if you have the seven bays in your UNVR or your UNAS Pro, you can go and stack these out with 24 terabytes in each of them. So that was one thing that Ubiquiti released last time. And if we pull up their, let's pull up their page. It's this one right here. So we got up to the Cloud Gateway Max last time. That's where we'd reached in terms of what they'd released. And I think that was around about the June, July sort of time. And then we moved straight into the UniFi Enterprise stuff. So we saw a little glimpse of this a few times in previous releases. So there were some data center switches. They've attempted to drive into the enterprise space, but I think they're really making a good stab at it this time. So the enterprise gateway, so what they released around here, if I just, I'm just going to bring this up on my other screen. What they actually released around here was the Enterprise Fortress Gateway. So if we bring one of these up so I can quickly show you. There's too many tabs open here to be able to keep track of what's going on. Let's just open it all up here. And if we have a quick look in the gateways, so we had two different offerings that we had here. So we had the Enterprise Gateway, which is still down as new. So this was the 25 gig WAN capabilities with 12.5 gigabit IPS throughput, and it was coming in at quite a price here. So we were coming in around $2,000 for this. We had two 25 gig SFP plus 28 ports on it, two 10 gig SFP plus ports, and two 2.5 gigabit RJ45 ports, which again are all remappable to get set up. Along with that, they had the cloud gateway version. So this only runs network on it, and you'd need an existing cloud key or a hosting service or whatever you're running at the moment to actually manage this device. But if you wanted something of that built in, then we had the Enterprise Fortress Gateway. So exactly the same specs, exactly the same as what it does, except this actually has a cloud key built into it. Now, the other thing that was an additional to this is the real-time inspection encryption. Encrypted packets. So they have an SSL certificate that you can install on your local machines, and you're able to then read things like the Google searches, and you're able to do a lot more with what you can see on the gateway itself. And also with that, you get 90 days worth of professional phone support. So if you needed that getting it set up, you could go and actually get that with it as well. And that's all included. So just jumping over to the comments. Hey Vasil, good evening. Thank you for joining me. Merry Christmas. Hey Tom, how you doing? Merry Christmas. And yep, the Enterprise Fortress Gateway is perfect for a 3-bedroom house for sure. That is, I think there's quite a few people that have probably bought one of these. And let me know down if you are watching this later or you're watching this now. And if you do have one of these, let me know down in the comments, because I'd be intrigued to know who actually has one of these set up at home. I'm sure the guys that got, unfortunately I didn't get sent one of these, but I'm sure definitely the guys that got sent these do probably have them running in their houses. But the unfortunate part is they would need to run their Protect completely separately, because this only runs UniFi network. You can't run the full stack. So there was actually a couple of other things that I didn't cover again in the last one. And if I did have them actually already open. So if I grab them here. So the first one was the introduction of UniFi GPT. I don't know if anybody's actually used this before. So when you're in the design center, and I think it's in the Portal app as well, you can go and click this UniFi GPT at the top. And it's basically ChatGPT for the Ubiquiti equipment. So you can go in here and you can ask a number of questions. There's some samples down here of what you can see. So what equipment do I need to get started? What APs do I need? What AP model should I get? So I'm just going to ask this a random question. I have a 4-bedroom house. What do I need for CCTV and network? And if I can spell, that would help as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask this a quick question and just see what it comes back. So it kind of gives you a breakdown of all the different sections. So if we have a quick look at what this says, so you need some sort of unified console. So straight away, it recommends the Dream Machine Pro or Dream Machine Special Edition. I didn't obviously give this a lot of context. So I didn't say what my usage is. Am I a heavy user? Am I a light user? Do I have multiple devices set up? But all this is the kind of things that you would feed to this when you're asking these kind of questions. So it's given me a Dream Machine Pro and a Dream Machine Special Edition, which is reasonable. It's the kind of thing you'd probably expect. A U6 Plus, a U6 Mesh, and a U6 Extender, depending on what you're looking for, and it gives the kind of use cases for them. The switches, it gives you a wide range along here. So you've got the Professional, you've got the Enterprise, or even the Pro Max. These are the layer 3s, again, because I've not given it any context as such. But it starts, the main thing is it kind of starts pointing you in the right direction of what you need, basically. The cameras themselves, it gives you a few options: G4 Bullet, G4 Dome, G4 Pro. That seems to be their entry-level ones around here. So it's interesting as to, it's not given anything more, anything newer on that. But again, it's all about context with these language models and how they work. So, and then we have the NVR and the NVR Pro to manage all that footage. So this, I think, can definitely push you in the right direction. So if you're completely new to Ubiquiti and you're needing to do something, this is definitely something that will push you in the right direction. The other thing we didn't talk about was the Cloud Gateway Max, the Cloud Gateway Ultra, sorry. So the Ultra itself was the first cloud gateway that was released. I think after the UniFi Express, definitely. The UniFi Express came out before then. But this was something that just allows you to run network. It allows you to do 30 UniFi devices and 300 clients. So it allows you to do a decent amount on it. So if you have something, I mean, it's 108 euros, so it's not the most expensive item from the Ubiquiti menu, but you can run UniFi network, you can go ahead and do 30 devices, and you can get a small house or a secondary location, get set up and get going, and maybe leveraging Site Magic to get the two sites connected, however you want these set up. So that comes in around about 108 euros, and I think it's $129 in the US store, if I remember correctly. Then we'll go on to the Switch Ultra. So this was another one that came out around May, June time, somewhere around there. So the Ultra comes in a few different flavors. This was sort of their Ultra lineup where the Swiss Army knife came out. This was part of that USW Ultra range. So this was supposed to be a layer 2 compact switch with 8 gigabits, 8 gigabit ports PoE, so 1 PoE++ input and 7 PoE plus outputs. Now, it says on there clearly, depending on what PoE input you put, if you just put PoE+, you're only going to get 16 watts of power availability, which is probably enough to run maybe one access point and maybe 1 to 2 cameras, depending. We have 7 output ports on that for PoE+, and if you put PoE++ in, then you get the 42 watts of PoE. Now, if you want a little bit more than that, you would have to buy the additional versions, which I'm probably guessing at this point, actually not talking to you at this point, and I should be actually on the computer screen. So at this point, you have the USW Ultra. That would be the 7 ports, as I mentioned, and that came in a few different flavors. So if you wanted to get that with 60 watts worth of power, they would send you an AC adapter with it. And if you wanted 210, so if you were powering access points, cameras, multiple items from this whole switch, you could go and get up to 210 watts out of it. So that one comes in a bit more of a steeper price. When you go to that, that goes to about 222 euros, including the VAT. And the US store, I want to say it's $199 if I remember correctly. So let's jump across quickly to some of the chats and let's see if we've got any questions. So can you pair with the UNVR? I'm guessing this was the Enterprise gateway that you're talking about. So yes, you can. You can pair it with it. You can run pretty much anything in that stack. You can run the NVR. You can run the UNAS Pro. It's just acting as a gateway, so it doesn't run all the additional applications with it. My setup goes on my credit card status. Yeah, definitely. I can appreciate that, definitely. That was me a little while ago, but they are very kind and having sent me a few items across to upgrade my setup for sure. The small gateways are really good for home use. The one with storage. So that's the Cloud Gateway Max. So the Gateway Ultra and the Gateway Max, there's 2 different types. The Gateway Max is definitely a good entry level for someone that's getting into Ubiquiti and they want to get dip their feet in the water to see what UniFi Network can do, to see what Protect can do. I think if I bring that one up quickly, the Gateway Max. Oh, that was right there. I should have just clicked on that. So if I quickly bring this back up. So the Gateway Max is a little bit more expensive. It's 310 euros, maybe 279 euros in the US. I'm not going to bring them up, but I'm just quoting these, I think, off the top of my head. There's a few different options. You can buy storage, no storage. The storage option gives you UniFi Protect. If you buy the no storage option, you do need to buy the third-party adapter, but there are some people that have been able to 3D print them. But I've also seen comments off the back of that saying the one that you get from Ubiquiti is better than the 3D printed ones. So yeah, you can make your choices with them. When I got mine, I got the 512 gigabyte version. And yeah, I mean, that is, I'm really impressed with this. For someone at home that wants the good setup, but doesn't want to spend a massive amount and isn't a heavy user, but they want to get into the ecosystem, this is definitely my number one go-to. So if they need cameras, they need network, this is the number one gateway to go to for me at this point for a residential deployment. For more of a commercial deployment, it would be we'd be looking at something a little bit more different. I run an Ultra switch in the living room. It's currently only 8 ports that allows me to be powered by PoE. Yeah, I mean, it's another handy switch, right? It's got to be one of those things that just works, basically. You need that extra power somewhere. This is what gives it to you. It gives you PoE. You don't have to buy a big switch, and it's wall mountable as well, and you can hide it somewhere if you need to. And it's fanless, so it's completely quiet. Would be nice if they started selling the power adapter separately. Definitely, yeah, I agree. There are people that have been wanting those separately in the past, so they wanted those, and they probably may sell them separately eventually. I guess ideally they want you to buy the full set. I bought the 210 watt version. So yeah, it's something that I think a few people have asked for, but who knows if that will come or not. Hey Black Jedi, welcome. Merry Christmas to you. I hope you are enjoying your time. I'm guessing it's quite cold where you are at the moment. Are you guys got snow over there at the moment? So if we then go back to, let's go back to where we were. So if we bring up the Enterprise Fortress Gateway, so they brought in the Enterprise lineup at that point. And at this point, we didn't know anything about the Enterprise Campus stuff that got released a little bit later, but we'll look at that shortly. We have a UniFi at scale. So this is just a case study that they did with the Memphis Grizzlies basketball team, I'm guessing, that they did, and they've deployed their Wi-Fi out. So that was around that sort of time. Then they released the new mobility stuff. So this was the UniFi mobile router industrial. And if I bring these up, store.ui.com, I feel like I should just have that website favorited at the top. It would be easier than typing it in every time. Accessories. No, it's not accessories. It's integrations. And then it is Internet Solutions. Is it in here? No, this is the LTE. I think it's because, no, I'm definitely in the US page. If anybody wants to tell me where I'm going wrong with this. Mobile routing, there we go. So it's a whole different section. So if we have a look here, so they released the router industrial. This is the first one that came out. The mobile router was out for a little while. That had been there for some time, but they released the mobile router industrial. This is good for somewhere a bit more remote, off-site. You need to get yourself something powered. You need PoE. You get a camera there. You put an LTE or a 4G SIM card in there, and you're good to go. You can set up a site-to-site VPN with your site, and you can then manage it from wherever you are. Now, with the mobility stuff, there is a little thing at the bottom here, which there are some additional charges. So for secure and full remote access of this, so you can control it from your side rather than being on the other side, it's $2 per month or $19 per year per mobile router. So depending on how many you have, you have that issue with that. So there is a monthly payment to that. You get a 30-day free trial to see how you get on with it, but if you want to change that, you can do. So that was the router industrial that came out. They did release the router ultra that came, I probably want to say a few months back that they released this. So this is more of a lightweight version. This doesn't have PoE in it. This doesn't have gigabit in it. So it does only have FE connections. So it's 100 meg. If you're running a camera, probably more than enough. If you're looking to run an access point, might not necessarily be the case, might not work from there. But this has the automatic LTE failover, and it has the WAN Wi-Fi capabilities built into it as well. So if we jump across to the chat again. So hey VJ, how you doing? Merry Christmas. The Campus Enterprise Wi-Fi 7 is only available in the US and Canada, the 6 gigahertz. Any reason why it's not available in any other countries? I know with the outdoor, it was definitely restrictions in terms of what could be deployed, so they held off with that. In terms of why the E7 has only available in the US and Canada, I think that is something they did mention right at the start. If I believe they said that the 6 gigahertz is only coming to certain countries, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back and watch the video again, unless it says anything on these. So E7 available in FCC IC regions only. So that was the reason the 6 gigahertz, the long range 6 gigahertz performance is going to be there. If we have a quick look, is there anything in here? So yeah, the 6 gigahertz extended range mode. So that's just the extended range mode. It's not necessarily 6 gigahertz itself. Yeah, at this point, I probably couldn't answer that question as to why they haven't come in other regions just yet. But we know the extended one is that. It literally says it above it. 6 gigahertz operations supported in these countries. I know, like I said, when the outdoor came, they did not Ubiquiti themselves, but there are restrictions with 6 gigahertz in certain countries, and where you can use them outdoor when you can't. So if your region's along here, and if I press the right one and take you to the right screen, if you can see along here, these are the regions supporting 6 gigahertz. So the band right here, outdoor operations. So outdoor use is only currently available in select regions and requires the use of AFC or an AFC compatible access point. And these are the countries. So I don't think it's just US and Canada. There's a whole bunch, but there may be some countries that it might not be available in, if that answers your question. Let's have a quick look. So if we go back here, number one fan, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Keep joining in. I'm generally here on Sunday evenings. The super chats always help. Let's have a look. So, hello, Vincent. Do you know if we can expect a new 8-port switch with a mix of 2.5 and 10 gigabit Ethernet in 2025? No, I don't for sure. But I am making a list at the moment of what people want to see in 2025. So I will definitely add that one to the list. So mix of... So yeah, I mean, if there is anything at this point that you want to see in 2025 from Ubiquiti in terms of hardware or any software improvements, let me know, because I am kind of putting a bit of a list together and seeing what comes at the end of next year, if any of those kind of came to fruition or if any of those really happened. And also possibly making a video on some of these as well. Maybe you might get some attention from Ubiquiti and they might go down some of these paths. I don't see anything in terms of that at this point, a mix. I don't know of anything coming. And I think I've said it a few times. If we do get told what's coming in advance, which we don't get told that often, but if we do get told of what's coming in advance, we are signed under the creator agreement, we are signed by an NDA. So we probably, even if we wanted to tell you, we probably couldn't tell you anyway. Seems like we have a lot of number one fans here this evening. So when is your video coming out on the Enterprise Wi-Fi 7? I would love to do a video on the E7. Unfortunately, I haven't been sent one and they're currently sold out everywhere at the moment. You'll see the posts all over Reddit at the moment. I don't see any videos coming out yet, just as, I guess, a full circle of all the Enterprise products. So we have the Enterprise Campus that came out, the aggregation campus switch that came out. We have the Wi-Fi access points that have come out. I think the only final piece of the puzzle that we're waiting for is the Enterprise switch. So the Enterprise Campus switch is the last piece of the puzzle that we're waiting for. And you can see that if I take you here, so you can see those are the two enterprise campus switches. I think that is all we are waiting for. So hopefully that will be coming out early next year or some point soon. Hopefully, I can't see anything else coming before the end of the year now. I mean, yeah, we're only 5 days away anyway. So hopefully early next year, there's something coming on this and the switches come. And I think then you'll start seeing all the content creators releasing their content on this. If I manage to get my hands on one, I don't think I could do it as much justice because you would need the switches to go with it. And if we look at the price of the switches, they're definitely not cheap, that's for sure. So, I mean, just the 24 port enterprise switch comes in at $2,400. So if Ubiquiti want to send one to me, I'll happily review it for you, and I'll happily do that when they do come out. But as it stands at the moment, unless someone is kindly enough to willing to send it to me, I don't think at this point that I probably will be reviewing it. So we have another one here. So if we go back here, so we have better notifications for doorbell, 2 minutes too late. So I'm guessing you are having issues with your notifications. I'll definitely make a note of that. Does anybody else ever seem to have a lag in their notifications with the doorbell? It'll be good to see if there's anybody else that's having this issue. And another one for VJ. So did you hear about the USA TP-Link ban? Yes, I have read about this a few times for sure. It's going to be an interesting one to see what comes about with this. I feel like they're not going to be the only manufacturer that seems to have this. Yes, they are the most common, but I don't think they're going to be the only manufacturer. So I'm not going to say too much on this yet. But yeah, I want to see what comes over the coming weeks, and then maybe, who knows, maybe we'll put a video together on something like this, and maybe we can bring some more TP-Link users over to UniFi. So who knows? So going back to our list of where we were, so we went with the industrial router for UniFi mobility, and then we had the alarm manager, Passpoint, Pro AV, and API. So I think it was around this point that we saw our first look at UniFi Play at this point. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it was around this point that we saw our first look at UniFi Play. So if I open this up, yeah, we do love the adverts on here. You'd think being a creator, maybe YouTube might give us a free subscription, but nope, they don't. So this is the alarm manager. This is UniFi Passpoint and the Pro AV stuff. So we can have, this is where we got our first look at UniFi Play. So with this is where the power amp came out, and a few weeks back I did a full unboxing on here, and we had a look at what you can and can't do with the power amp. So if you want to see that, go ahead and check it out. And if I can find it, I will show you that video, so you know where to look if you want to check it out. So that is us right now. And if I go to my channel, and if we look at live, you'll see, there we go. So a few weeks ago, we had the power amp that we did. We unboxed it, we tested it up, and yeah, it was good session that was. So that was the first look at the power amp, and yeah, I mean, they definitely took a stab in that space. It definitely got people talking about it, which is what I think they definitely wanted. And then we had the UniFi API. So we have the UniFi Access API that's already there. That is already open, and you can get into that. We now have the UniFi API, which I think is for the site manager. And I think I remember, I'm not going to say this for sure, but I think I remember seeing something about the UniFi Network API. Anybody want to keep me honest? And if that is the case, do let me know. But I think I saw something about UniFi Network API, if I'm not mistaken. maybe that's something I read in. Yeah, maybe that's something I read somewhere. But yeah, that's definitely, definitely. I think that's definitely coming for sure. And yeah, that's what we saw at that point. So that was a few months back, and then it really got busy in those last few months coming up to the end of the year. So we saw UniFi Protect 5 and the Enterprise NVR. So that was the first look at the big monster of the NVR unit that we saw with 16 bays in there. So the one thing I actually wanted to take a look at, so they released the bezel. I have quite a few tabs open now. So they released a bezel for it. Is that actually available yet, or is that not available yet? No, the bezel's still coming soon. So the bezel isn't available at this point. That was the screen that was sat on the front where you can actually see your UniFi Protect cameras on here. I don't know if there's any images of it. No, it's just the technical specs. Was there anything in the video? Let's have a little look. Let's scrub through here. So that was the introduction of ONVIF, which was absolutely massive, especially for someone like me. I do have a bunch of Hikvision cameras, and this little device right here, the AI port, is definitely doing wonders. I need to put this in the right location. It's been there for the last few weeks from a stream that we did. So that was UniFi Protect 5.0, and that was a really big update. Then we had the archiving, and then I don't know where they mentioned. Oh, so this is the Enterprise NVR. So they didn't really mention anything about the screen too much. I think it's around here, but yeah, they don't really say too much as to what you can see on the screen. But yeah, that's not available yet anyway. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. I'll be very interested to see what you can and can't do with that. Before we jump ahead, let's take a quick look here. So would you attend the UniFi World Conference next year? So I definitely want to. I'm hoping to, depending on where it is. Attend it where it is. I would have actually attended this year, and I did have plans to come, but I was already away at that point. So had I not been away, I definitely would have come this year, but definitely next year, as long as I'm not away at that point, I'll definitely be there I'll be definitely flying out to attend. Ubiquiti needs to sort out the stock problem. Yeah, I don't think you're the only person that is that's saying that comment. There's quite a few people that have come up with that, and hopefully it'll be getting better as time goes on. I guess if you think back to post maybe 12 months after COVID, where they really struggled with the stock, and I think they're definitely getting better for sure with stock. So they're not as bad as they used to be. I'm definitely excited. So I'm excited for the AI key. Yeah, I mean, I did a video on this. Let's have a quick look to see if I can find it. So I did a video on this where we saw, I think it was this one, where we saw a couple of devices in the rack, and I think some of them kind of make sense to what they are now. If we go back, I mean, if we have a look here, we had two devices that showed up. Now, the top one, I think we can say what that is, and that's this little device right here. So if I quickly show you this, there's that one just up here, which looks like a sort of mount for the AI key. I can't be for sure, but just looking at how it looks. And then the AI port, and then the ones below, I think I zoomed in at another point, which shows that it looked like it said AI key. So there we go. I think it was somewhere around here. Look, you can see these devices, and the actual video itself zooms in that little bit more, and it just makes it out enough for you to kind of read it. So it looks a little something like that. And I think there's people that have leaked images of these as well. So I mean, if you Google enough, you'll probably find out enough about it. But definitely interested to see what this device is and what it's going to be able to do. And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. I don't think Ubiquiti have any plans of slowing down. Just generally for products, I think it's going to be a very busy start to next year, and there's going to be a lot to come for sure. But I can't complain. It keeps me busy. It helps me bring content for you guys. So as long as I can get hold of those products, I can bring that content across. Where do we get to? So so that was the that was the Enterprise NVR, and we saw that, and then we have the Meet UniFi series. We have the Meet UniFi series where they're always a bit of a laugh, I think. So we have a few more bits to cover, but I'm not going to go on too much longer today. I'm gonna do a slightly shorter stream today, and I'm going to save some of it for Sunday. So we are going to be around, hopefully, still on Sunday as well. I'm not going to cover everything, but when I did my last stream on a Sunday, we were like, let's come back in the middle of the week and let's cover some of this in terms of what we're going to take a look at. So we've done a little while. Let's cover the unified device bridging. And yeah, I mean, if there's any more questions or anything you want to ask, drop me a comment and we'll try and get to it before the stream finishes up. So the unified device bridging is what they brought in next. And with this, we have the Device Bridge and Device Bridge Pro. Just waiting for the comments to, not the adverts to finish. So this is where we saw the Device Bridge Pro, the first look at it and what it can do. And I think these devices were actually really cool. So you can connect these directly to a access point. You don't need to actually have something like this that needs to be sat on both sides. There are products that can do that, and you can do it with the Device Bridge Pro. But I did a video on this, and I actually had a device pointing to a U7 outdoor, and I definitely got over 100 meters away, and I was still getting a really good connection from there. So I can imagine this being really good for someone that needs to extend their network, or if they're quite far distance away, point that thing to a U7 outdoor, and it's definitely going to do the job for you. They had the device bridge as well. I don't actually have these to hand. I've actually put them away for the time being. I'm having a bit of a clear out in here, so trying to get everything out of here that I don't need, ready for next year for hopefully a whole more new products that we can fill the room with. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely something. So that was the Device Bridge Pro can work either singly, so a single device to point to your Wi-Fi access point, or you can actually set them up in a parent-child mode. So if you had two of them, you can set them up parent to child. So they both work in that instance, and that's how you would get that maximum of the 5 kilometers, or the 5 kilometers that you would be looking at. You definitely need the point-to-point, the parent and child setup for that. They then had the device bridge as well, and this one just meshes to your existing network, so it's not rated to be used outdoor, and you wouldn't want to keep it in a cupboard because it will reduce the Wi-Fi signal in that instance. So you want to make sure that you have that set up somewhere in your house, you haven't run a cable somewhere. The PoE out on here lets you set up a Wi-Fi access point, or even a camera, or if you want to plug it into a switch to connect multiple devices, you can go and do things like that. Now, these two devices, if we jump into Wi-Fi, and there's the Device Bridge Pro, that comes in at $199. And if we look, maybe it's down the bottom, Device Bridge, yeah, it's sold out. And the Device Bridge is $99. So you have the 5 gigahertz band with 867 megabits per second throughput rate, and it says it's compatible with UniFi Protect, Talk, or various other IoT devices that may or may not need PoE, or if they just need an Ethernet connection. The Device Bridge Pro is $199, and these are sold individually. So like I said, they link at 5+ kilometers point to point. You'd need another Device Bridge Pro to get that 5+ kilometers. But I definitely tested this, like I said, 100 meters away, and I definitely had no signal issues from that point. You can pole mount it, and yeah, I did mention this, sold individually. Now, if you need that higher throughput, you then start moving to the UBB and the UBB XG. These are not as far in terms of distance, so they have a 500 meter range, but they use the 60 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz radio. And it doesn't actually say what the throughput of something like this is, but it's definitely there for if you need something a bit more in terms of higher throughput. And there's a quick picture of how you would deploy something like this. So wireless link between the two. And yeah, you can definitely link 2 buildings with this too. So if you want to connect something up to the other side, you can do that with this. And yeah, I'm not gonna cover the rest on this one, and maybe we will. There's not too much more to cover. Maybe this is something we can cover on Sunday, and then we'll discuss about what we want to see in 2025 as well. So let's see if there's any more comments left for us to go through. Let's have a quick look. Fasil mentioned, so was browsing the store today, and I'll probably order the USB-C cable with a charge display and the panel antenna for the UK Ultra while they offer the free shipping. Yeah, I mean, definitely take advantage of that. I think there's probably 2 days left, maybe tomorrow. So yeah, all these offers for the holidays, there is it ends on 27/12, so you've got a couple of days. Go and make use of those offers, and my affiliate link is down in the description of this video. So if you do want to order anything, feel free to use it, and again, it helps me out when you use that. So Mark mentions, I wish the Gateway Max had come out first. I bought the Gateway Ultra, now I want to expand to use UniFi. Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely a stickler when it came out. And I think I did a video. I think I did a video on something like this. And yeah, some people were happy with it, some people weren't, but it's the way it was. It was, if I come back to here. Yeah, so this one here. So I did a bit of a clickbait title on this one. So Ubiquiti just killed 4 products with the Cloud Gateway Max. Because, I mean, I genuinely feel like they did. I mean, the Gateway Ultra, it's not necessarily killed, but I definitely feel like it was, they had a superseded product. You would have to have a specific use case or not the right budget to go with the other ones. The Gateway Max is one that you definitely want to go with if you have the budget to do it. And that's what you're looking for, because you can run the full stack. So you can run network, you can run talk, you can run protect, you can run access, all off that single device. And previously you would have had to buy yourself either US, like going back a few years, you'd have had to buy yourself a USG and then a cloud key, and then you'd have to buy yourself another switch. So it would, or you'd have to buy yourself a Dream Machine probes to be able to do that. So there was always multiple devices, and the Dream Router was the first instance that came where you could run multiple, get your UniFi on a budget, I guess. It's because that could run 2 different applications. But this one runs all 4. So it's, for me, if you're looking to run this, then this is if you're looking to run multiple apps, this is the one you want. Okay, well, I think that's probably it for this evening. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. It was a fairly quick stream this evening, given I'm sure a lot of people are spending time with their family. But yeah, I thought I'd come on, and if you want to spend some time here, you're more than welcome to. And I hope you guys have a really good rest of the day and enjoying the day for today. And hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. We'll be around about the same sort of time. We'll be streaming live where we cover the last few products that are on here. And yeah, then we'll be off into the new year. So thank you all for joining me this evening, and I'll see you in the next one.